Now, may I move to the next speaker in the inaugural session, Ambassador Pranay Verma, Indian Ambassador to Hanoi. Ambassador Verma, uh, over to you for your remarks, please.
Thank you, Professor Prabir. Am I audible?
Yes, very much.
Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs of India, Dr. Rajkumar Ranjan Singh, Honorable Vice Foreign Minister of Vietnam, His Excellency Nguyen Quoc Dung, Ambassador of Vietnam in India, His Excellency Pham Sinh Chau, Vice President of Vietnam Academy of Social Sciences, Professor Dr. Dang Nguyen Anh, Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN Community and Corporate Affairs, Mr. Nduk Bing, Director General of RIS, Professor Sachin Chaturvedi, my colleague, Indian Ambassador to ASEAN, Jayant Khobragade, Dr. Pham Cao Quang from Vietnam Institute of Indian and Southeast Asian Studies, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to participate at this third international conference on ASEAN-India cultural and civilizational links. I thank RIS and Vietnam Academy of Social Sciences for coming together to host this important event that had to be postponed a few times since 2019 due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. We are happy to finally put it back on track in this online format with concerted efforts made by both sides. Age-old cultural and civilizational ties provide a uniquely strong foundation to India's ties with ASEAN countries. It is therefore logical, and as Professor Chaturvedi and Professor Ang mentioned, that culture is one of the 3 C's on which our engagement with ASEAN as part of India's Act East policy is premised, the two being connectivity and commerce. With Vietnam, our cultural rings occupy a pride of place as one of the 5 pillars of the comprehensive strategic partnership that characterizes our current relationship. Since Buddhism reached the shores of Vietnam, and it is believed it reached directly from India through maritime routes some 2,000 years ago, it brought in its wake literature, art, philosophy, customs, and traditions whose imprints we still see spread around. The Okkyo tradition of Funan Kingdom in Vietnam's Mekong Delta region bears deep imprints of the cultural and civilizational confluence between India and this region, with their magnificent architectures, temples, and deities. So does the Champa kingdoms of central Vietnam, whose 5 kingdoms carried Indian names: Indrapura, Amravati, Vijaya, Kauthara, and Panduranga. They are fine examples of cultural dialogue between geographically distant societies brought closer by civilizational empathy. Vietnam is also believed to be the country where first ever manuscript written in Sanskrit language was to be found outside India. Today, as our archaeological survey of India is engaged in conservation of some of the charm temples at the UNESCO World Heritage Site at Misen in central Vietnam, we are rediscovering our civilizational connection. Whether it is the 9th century monolithic sandstone Shiva Lingam excavated at Misen in 2020, or the designation of 2 important cultural religious icons of India, Ganesha and Gajasimha, which are kept in the Charm Museum in Da Nang as the national treasure by the government of Vietnam last year. They all bring home the point that we are so much more closely connected culturally than we generally imagine. Cultural conservation is an important emerging aspect of our development and cultural partnership with Vietnam. And therefore, we have decided to take up more conservation projects in different provinces of Vietnam, as announced by our prime ministers during their virtual summit in December 2020. Digitization and deciphering of the charm manuscripts in Vietnam, which hold a valuable insight into our civilizational links with the region, is another priority which we are working together to accomplish. We have also agreed to embark on a project to create an encyclopedia of India-Vietnam cultural and civilizational contacts. This is to build a treasure trove by compiling and putting together in one place the rich but hitherto scattered history of our past connections. Our societal connections are also growing. When the direct flights between India and Vietnam started in 2019, there was a visible increase in the number of Indians on the streets of Hanoi. Unfortunately, with the pandemic's onset, that trend was disrupted. But we do hope that resumption of these flights will bring many more visitors in both directions and strengthen tourism to nurture the connection between our societies. Before ending, I would like to mention about the immense popularity of yoga in Vietnam, which is visible through large number of yoga centers across the country, and also the large turnovers at our International Day of Yoga celebrations every year. Today, yoga has indeed become an important contemporary cultural bridge between India and Vietnam. In some ways, one may argue what Buddhism did 2000 years ago, yoga is doing today. In reconnecting us culturally and spiritually, we should nurture and strengthen these links. I once again thank RIS and Vietnam Academy of Social Sciences, Vietnam Institute for Indian and Southwest Asian Studies for inviting me to be part of this August gathering to explore a very important dimension of our engagement with ASEAN. I look forward to an insightful and productive discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Verma. Thank you very much.